Hey guys, what's up? It's Lakat, and today we're going from a super duper realistic drawing to a very cartoony drawing. This is gonna be quite a bit of a challenge for me, so let's go. Okay, so I know I literally just said that it's gonna be super duper realistic, but it's as realistic as I can get. I'm not like super good at realism. I tried to force myself into photorealism, but I just couldn't make it work for me. So I've got my handy dandy reference over on the left, and first I'm just going to draw this girl. This will be the drawing that I make more and more cartoony as we go along. This is another video idea I got from the YouTuber Lavender Town, and I think that's why I made her dress the way that she is, because in Lavender Town's video where she does this, I think she has like a quick little doodle of a chibi character with like a water gun or something. So I think that like subconsciously gave me the idea to do this. That foot that you see me inking was really hecking hard because like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I usually just like put my characters in socks or give them little nubby feet. So the foot was really stinking hard. Although it wasn't as hard to draw in this like semi-realistic style, at least as realistic as I can get. Like, to be honest, like the body is pretty realistic, and then it's just her face that's quite cartoony with the eyes and the like very like anime mouth. I guess this looks a bit more like a character in a manga than realistic, but it gets a little different when we get into the coloring. So I tried to give her like a very actiony pose. She's in like a water balloon fight. I don't really have like a story for her, and normally I have stories for my drawings, but this one I just thought like putting her in a swimsuit would be a good idea, because aside from the inspiration from Lavender Town, like a swimsuit, you can kind of see like the proportions of the character well enough, and obviously as I make her more cartoony, we are going to like push those proportions more and more and really try to shape things to be cartoony. So a swimsuit is a good way to do that. I also subconsciously gave her my swimsuit, I think, but red, because looking at this now, that's like the exact shape of my swimsuit, just like the top's like a little different and like the color's different, but without realizing, I very much put her in my swimsuit. So I don't often do like very realistic drawings, and like the skin was a particularly hard challenge for me because I don't think I really knew how to shade it. In real life, shadows like aren't that drastic and heavy, so I just put like some warmth into her skin first and then went on to add in like the shadows and things like that. It's not terribly realistic, but it's also not like terribly cartoony. So I also did like very soft shading for everything because I thought that would make it look more realistic. And like I'll get more into like the cell shading and stuff like that as we go on. I tried to color her palm like light colored, but that wasn't working out. If someone can figure out how to do that, please tell me. She's pretty much finished up, and we're gonna move on to the next. So as I started the second one, I thought it would be like a breath of fresh air kind of, but actually I had to get the posing right. Like it took me a couple tries, as you can see. I know this footage is always really sped up, so it only looks like I like hesitated for a second or two, but I'll be drawing for like a solid like feels like 20 minutes, but it's probably more like 10 before I like erase the sketch and start over. I think it's because I had the previous drawing and I had to copy the pose, and I don't normally like redraw stuff even if it's in like a different style, so I think that's what was throwing me off. I made some conscious decisions that were like a little different from my style. Like normally if I'm drawing like a sort of chibi character like this, I would not give them a nose, but I wanted there to be like some difference between this one and like my next one, my next like even more cartoony version. So I thought I would let her keep her nose and just make it more cartoony. I made her earrings bigger. I made a lot of the things on her face like more dramatic, like her earrings and her bow. I just made them bigger because I feel like, especially with Western cartoons, like you get like really dramatic stuff, like hacking like cartoon characters' heads are so huge. Like what was it? Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs had a cartoon for a little bit, and like a series cartoon, and their heads were so big. I remember seeing it and being like, have cartoons' heads always been this big? Or like that just grow up and I'm just now realizing, you know? So she still has her water balloons. I also still gave her like fingers that you can see clearly. This is closest to my like normal style. I also made the line art quite thicker because like the more cartoony you get, you know, I think you add more line art because you don't have line art in real life. I You can clearly see I was very ready to change the eyes. I like doing the big round eyes with like the eyeliner type stuff. So like I was very quick on that. Um, Even though this one is supposed to be more cartoony, again, I wanted a way to differentiate it from the third one. I was very worried that like the third drawing would look just like this drawing, but with like a bigger head. So I smudge out a lot more. I don't think I smudge out the blush here on camera, but I'm pretty sure I go back and smudge it out. I also see, as you can see, I'm doing here completely different for the shadows. I gave her purple shadows, and then again, you'll see me smudge them out in just a little bit. But so it was sort of like a soft, it's like if soft shading and cell shading had a baby, it would be this kind of shading, but I don't really know what to call it. I think there's something like so soothing about like the warm tones mixed with like the purple shadows. I was gonna give her like red shadows at first, but I thought purple would look better, and I was right. It looks just so like kind of dreamy, you know? I think like on this little scale, this style is one of my favorites, especially this style of shading. Like if I was to make a comic or something, I would totally go with this style of shading. So here's my second cartoon. We're gonna move on to the last. So lastly, this is like the most cartoony version, and honestly I was worried that it would not look different enough from like the original, or rather my second drawing, but I think it did in the end. I gave her like very rubber hose like Adventure Time arms, but I didn't want her to look like an Adventure Time character because that was not the point. I realized that like as I cartoonify drawings, I really like truncate the body, and like I mean obviously I make the head bigger, but like I specifically made her torso so small, and I'm not really sure why I did that. Like it just sort of happened in my sketch. As I went on, I also tried to make her expression look like bigger and bigger. Like at this point the mouth is a shape that no human could ever reasonably make. I put stars in her eyes, and I did that on the previous cartoon too, but this one I just also put the stars in her eyes. I also gave her a really thick outline around like the entire body, just because I felt like the more line art heavy I made it, the more cartoony it looked. So in the last one I gave it like even thicker line art, and in this one I just straight up gave her an entire outline around her body, and I do think it makes her look very cartoony. At this point I kind of felt like she could be a Western cartoon character. Maybe this is like a bit too much skin for like Cartoon Network or something, but like it's still definitely chibi, but I don't know, it just reminded me of like the big-headed like Western cartoon characters. And I know I keep saying like the big-headed Western cartoon characters, but there's nothing wrong like with that particular style. I think people have like a weird way of like talking down certain art styles, like the what is it, I'm Not Starfire, that interesting self-insert comic. People kept attacking the art style and saying it was terrible when it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't appropriate for the situation. Like that comic looked a lot like a webtoon and not like a Marvel comic, but it was just different, not bad. Similarly, Western cartoons are just different, but not necessarily bad. Whatever you classify this drawing as, my drawing, I like it a lot, and I did more cel shading, but this time I didn't smooth it out, so it's just the regular cel shading. And she's also about done, so we can look at them all together now. I'm super excited. So here is the most realistic one, at least as realistic as I can get. Here is the in-between, kind of cartoony, but still got like, you know, some structure to her. And here is our most cartoony girl. Comment down below which one you think is best girl. And if maybe you want to see me draw in these styles again, just please don't say the first one because it took me so much longer than the others. If you don't follow me on my social medias, you totally should. I'm on Instagram at __locket, and I'm on Twitter and TikTok now at LocketYT. I know I say it a lot, but I really, really love to post, so thank you so much for watching, and until next time, lock out.